because now I'll introduce you to, do you like the photo, Richard? This is our speaker for today. We met probably 2 or 3 years ago when he was on stage and I was the person with my notepad going, what he says is very interesting, but he was different to everybody else on stage. I don't know if I've said this to you before, Richard. You were not throwing stuff down my throat. You were talking common sense, and that's quite in short supply quite often. And a lot of other people on that stage were what you should do and what you need to do and what you ought to do. And you were going, this is stuff that's worked for me. You might want to try it. And it was a different attitude. And from that moment on, I've kind of been stalking you like most good people do. And then I went on Richard's challenge a little while ago. And I'm constantly trying to learn, constantly trying to improve myself, always wanting to take on more information. If I tweak it here, if I tweak it there, see what can happen. And it did work to a certain extent. If I'd probably put more into it, it would have worked massively. But yeah, simple, beautiful, clear advice and support. And just all around nice guy. And then I found this picture and like, he likes dogs as well. What's not to like? How accountability and masterminding have helped me to scale to $1 million in revenue twice. Over to you, Richard.
Okay, wicked. Sorry, I've just put my LinkedIn into the chat, and I've just gone this S me. The S is an is, so there you go. So I do apologize. Right. Hello, guys. Thank you, Jill, for inviting me along, and thank you all for being amazing. Those goals out there and the motivation that you can see by actually putting your goals in writing and sharing them with people is fantastic. So thank you, Jill, for creating that environment there. And there's some amazing goals out there, and also some great things that people are thankful for. So it just goes to show how much of a crazy kind of world we're living in with some of the different places that we've come from and where we're going to go to. So excellent. Well, I'm really excited about doing this today. So I'm going to just talk quite quickly because we've got a lot to get through. I'm hoping, did I just share screens there? Was that okay? Did I share screens? I'm trying to, there we go. Okay, I know what I'm trying to do. Right.
Looking
so
good.
let's just
You're fine.
Get the presentation sorted. Right, here we go. So welcome along. So as Jill's very said, today we're talking a bit about accountability and masterminding, and really just how some of these type of sessions, and such a great example, these questions that you get from being in groups like this can help you to think bigger and differently. And by doing so, you can ask yourself certain bigger picture stuff that you hold yourself accountable for. And that has helped me to be able to scale £2 million revenue businesses. So my world used to be like this before I joined a group like this. I used to be an Octopus. I was trying to do this. I was answering this. I was fighting this fire. I was fighting this fire. And I joined a group and I said, crumbs, my world is crazy. I haven't got enough time for this anyway. I don't know what the next step is for my business. And they said, well, look, just answer yourself one simple question. What is it actually that you want? And I thought, well, okay, well, I'll kind of answer that just really honestly. And I go, well, I'll think about it. And they said, well, look, when you're thinking about it, if you don't have a plan, if you don't really know what you want and where you're going, then any road will take you there. And it's a kind of Alice in Wonderland, or Alice, whatever it is in Wonderland, that kind of, what road do I take? Well, where are you going, says the Cheshire Cat. Well, I don't know. Then it doesn't matter if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And I thought it was really interesting. So the question I said was, I could probably do with some more money. That's why I went into business. So that's one of the things that I'd like to think about. Well, that'd be interesting. And they said, well, what other things are on your mind? Well, how much money? And I go, well, I'd like to maybe get twice as much that I had this year next year. Okay, all right, okay, well, no, we've got a plan. At least we've got a figure around that. And we go, okay, well, I can actually start aiming towards that. Okay, interesting. And then they go, but also I always don't want to work that hard, because I find myself, I'm just working all hours of the day, working crazy. I was running a marketing agency, I had 28 staff. I was running around the place thinking, Jesus, where do I get off this bus? It's like a treadmill. I thought, well, how can I solve that problem of working so hard? And they said, well, how much less do you want to work? And I thought, well, why don't I try and work half as much? And so, great. Now you've got a plan. I want to have double the income, but I want to work half the amount of time. Cool. So now we actually know where we want to go to and a route to get there. And so today, what I want to do is just to share some ideas that might be able to help people to think about that, because where we find ourselves in this world is lots of people talking about the cost of living crisis, but they're also talking about the standard of living and what you're getting out of life. And we don't want to have to work twice as hard to make twice the amount of money. Why can't we work twice as less, half the amount of time, but also earn double the amount? So those are the scenarios we're going to cover over the next 20 minutes. So first of all, when we think about double your income, well, we need to think about, well, how do we break that down? So what is that target? What do you need to sell to reach that target? How do you find more from what you already have? Personally, how do you get more from what you already have? And how do you get the leads and the sales, if you've got a business, to be able to achieve that? So that's how we're going to kind of answer that question. And how we're going to work the half the time piece is we're going to look at how to set up delivery so it prevents you from overworking. So how do you actually deliver without overworking? And how do you set up your sales funnel so it stops you from overworking? So how do you get more leads from overworking, right? So it's a big picture stuff here, gang, right? So first of all, what's the target? Whenever we're trying to actually think about what income revenue, it's best to actually then start to list out, well, what do you actually want to get? You know, how do you actually want your life to look? What's the costings? And so by creating a spreadsheet, creating some sort of Google sheet where you're looking at this, you're able to work out, well, actually, what do I need per month? And so I'm just going to share in the chat here. I've got a bit of a replay on this double your income work half the time presentation. And I've got some swipe files for you guys to get. So you can see here, Google Sheet, which is about your target income generator. And I've also got some other notes on how you'd be able to scale your business. So I'm going to just share this in the chat. And what you want to do is just click on it and just save it for later, because it will help you to get the swipe files from today's presentation. So I'm just going to jump back into there now for you, right? So jump on that link, click it, save it. Don't linger on it because I'm going to walk you through it, but it's a good thing to keep. So here's how we start to think about where are we going. So this is the target lifestyle income generator. And if you really want to think, well, actually, by the end of next year, I would like to be achieving this, or I like my lifestyle to have this. And so I thought, well, stuff it, I'll stick everything down from, you know, the nice big house and the family, holidays, you know, the cars, the school kids fees, if we're going to do that, the utility bills, all of that stuff. You just list it all out. And then you start to list out what the annual repayments are, the monthly repayments. And I know it's kind of spreadsheets and like, that's kind of there. But ultimately, if you start to get to a figure, and if you kind of make it this big, hairy, audacious figure that you're already working towards, then suddenly you start to work out, well, actually, to have my ideal lifestyle, I need to have an amount per year. And therefore, to have my dream lifestyle, I need to be able to have this, right? So say it is these figures, say these figures, I mean, these figures are crazy, right? So they're just big, wacky figures, right? But are they? Because we all start to think about, well, actually, I want to have the millionaire lifestyle. But what does a millionaire lifestyle mean? Well, I need to be making over £1 million. I need to be able to do all this stuff. And you go, well, do you really? Does your business even need to be doing $1 million in revenue for you to live that lifestyle, right? Because all of this stuff is the sort of thing that I would have if I was, you know, goods, you know, won the lottery, I'd have these things, right? And so that's what I want you to do, list them down. And then you get to a nice monthly figure. Now, the target revenue for your business can then be delivered from that monthly figure, because if you can set up your business in a way that you take home per month half of everything that your business makes after tax, then suddenly you've got a figure for your business. And in this example, you can see that your revenue figure for your business is £34,000 per month. Now, this is really interesting, because when anybody talks about, oh, you need to have $1 million business, or, you know, £1 million business, etc., you know, people like me that goes and talks about that sort of stuff. Actually, in reality, once you know as the owner of the business what you need out of the business, then you can have a target revenue figure for your business. And so when you start to think about, well, what would that actually mean? And if we kind of move these gaps in and delete these rows, then the figure for that business, if you times this monthly revenue figure for your business by 12, then actually the business would only need to be doing 413,000 in order for your business per month to be doing 34K, in order for you to be taking home 17 grand per month. Now, that's very interesting, because that £413,000 gives you some really interesting options. Because, and I know I'm just throwing figures at you here, but it's important to set this out. It's beginning of this year, right? So we can focus, right? So say it's 400 grand you need to get to. Okay, so 400 grand. Well, actually, if we try and maybe win a few clients, so say we win clients at, say, I don't know, £597 per month, right? And they stay with us for 12 months. So it's a service, like you're doing marketing services for that much, or you're doing coaching products for that, then each client is going to be worth £71,000 for you, right? That's cool. Okay, so 7,100. So if we're going, if we're going to go 400 grand, and we want to be able to divide that by the 7,164 revenue from that, then we need 55 clients. Well, that's really interesting, because that's basically a client a week that you need to win. That's just 4 clients a month that you need to win for you to be able to have what you would perceive, and I'm only just saying potentially this could be figures that are similar to yours. These were the figures that I wanted for you to actually get yourself to that millionaire lifestyle. That's the aha that I try to give as many people as possible. Growth, particularly when you're talking to the bloke that's got the $1 million sprint business, right? So I talk about sprinting to $1 million in revenue. I talk about sprinting to that millionaire lifestyle that you want, or the lifestyle that's right for you, and then crafting your sales and marketing machine, crafting your targets and crafting your business around that, and focusing just simply on achieving that, which then has a direct representation for your business. Now, here's the cool thing. If we start to think about, well, actually, how do we start to take more out from our business? So it's a 400 grand business, right? So it's not that big, but it's still good, right? So it's 55 clients. How do we go and deliver that? So how do we deliver those clients with less time, but also we take more money out of our business? So I had 28 staff. It was crazy. Well over $1 million in revenue. We were running around the place doing all this marketing campaign work. But at the end of the month, what happened is all the money would come into our bank account, and then it would all go out to all these different places. And before we know it, I got no money left to pay anyone. I'm like, what's going on? So I had this book that came to me. So this was another kind of mentoring and association. And a mastermind said to me, look, what you need to do is you need to read a book called Profit First. Amazing book, really helps you to focus on actually profitability and taking the revenue out of your business. So this is kind of making sure that you're getting more from what you've got already. And so in Profit First, what it says is that 120% of income comes into one bank account, right? So that's your VAT plus your net revenue. And all of that money sits there, and then VAT comes out, employees' wages come out, money comes out for this, software, memberships, all that sort of stuff. No money at the end of the month for you. And so what it says in Profit First is you need to make sure that you squeeze it into these different silos, because mass expands the room you give it. So you need to give it less room. So first of all, you need to pop 20% straight off over to one side. That 20% is for the VAT man, right? So you don't want to go take money from the VAT man. You stick your 20% straight off. So now you've got 100% of revenue in your income account, of true revenue, right? Now, what you want to do is then start to squeeze different bits. So you put 30% straight into what we would call an OPEX account. So that's operational expenses account. Now that operational expenses is cash that you save for doing all of the work, right? So delivering your services, paying for things like ads, paying for memberships, doing the work, right? Then we got to put a tax account together. And so you put 15% of revenue into that tax account. Why is that important? Well, that's 15% of 100% of revenue. So that gives enough money to be able to pay your corporation tax, which, remember, is only in the UK, it's like 19% of profit, right? So 15% of turnover is more than enough to be able to do your tax. Then we want to make a profit. So we do 5% profit, and we add that into a separate bank account. So no, you can't take any of these monies out to these different accounts unless it's for these things. So that's retained profit for a rainy day to look after you if the proverbial hits the fan. Then the next thing you want to do is put 50% into the owner's comp. Now we can see how you can actually make sure that you always take 50% out of your business. So therefore, that equation that I was showing you in terms of those targets, this system guarantees that you'll hit that. So 50% goes in your own accounts. That is what you take out. Now, the next step, which is how we go and develop this further, is we want to make sure that your business pays your personal income tax for you. So that 50% coming out of here, if we just took that 17 grand, say, per month out your business, well, you'd be paying at the higher tax rate amount, and it'll be loads of money coming off your bill, right? So what we want to do is we want to look at this VAT and actually go, well, we'll reclaim some of the VAT we pay here. So actually our VAT only comes out to be about 13% when we do this, because you're reclaiming VAT there. And also because it's 19% of profit, so that's the 5% plus the 50%, then ultimately it's not 15%, it's only about, you get about a 7% excess in here as well. So these extra 7% here and 7% in here get paid to you as a further dividend, and then that can go most of the way to paying your personal income, right? So your true personal revenue from every pound that you make will be 50 pence into your bank account, which means that when you do get up to that 400k level, then 200k is into your personal bank account, all paid for after tax. That, my friends, is how we make sure. So if you're not already running this and you find that actually your operational expense is more like 45%, then you need to slowly reduce stuff down so you can get to these magic numbers over time. Cool, right? Makes sense? Good. So for time's sake, I'm going to keep on throwing stuff at you. So that's how you reach the target, and that's how we can get more revenue from it. The next thing we need to do is focus on what we're actually selling to be able to make sure that we deliver it. Now, a lot of people online, so it doesn't matter if you're doing marketing services. I had a boiler servicing business that did like 20 different services as well. Again, we were very successful. We scaled that and then sold that as well. These type of businesses will have like a small little lead magnet and an initial offering, and then a first offer, second tier, third tier. Oh my God, could you imagine? And so once you start to have this type of business, you've got customers in all different tiers trying to sell all different things with all different deliverables. And so your world becomes a little bit like this, where you're trying to win clients over here. So this is you. And then you're trying to service this client, do this client. I've got this product, this product, this product, and this product. And then you get fancy and think, well, actually, I'm going to do a bronze, silver, and gold of this product. And so what happens is that you're just going in 1 inch in so many different directions in the day. Instead of doing this on your delivery, sell one full and remarkable solution, your flagship solution, sell it to the right type of customer for the right type of price, and only do one set of deliverables. So when you stack all these 12 different directions into one direction, then you go 12 inches in one direction each day, as opposed to 12 inches in multiple directions every single day. So you can see how your energy and the way that you can work. Now, we did this as the marketing agency. So we had one full and marketable solution called the Digital Trailblazer, which is basically a lead generation product that involved doing social media and marketing for a client, but we just sold the one thing. And so what I was able to do is take all this product and do tick lists. And I was like, right, for each client, this is what we do week 1. This is what we do week 2. This is what we do week 3. So we had a full set of deliveries over each time. We knew exactly how long each task would take and how we would do it. And so therefore I was able to give this to a team member, and they would just follow my lead, and they would just do this, this, and this. And if something was slightly complicated, I would do a little explainer video for them on each one of those. And before I know it, I've got a fantastic product that is easily churnable. So when we started to win lots of clients, it meant that I could just times this person by 4 or 5 people, and they would all do the same deliverables, but for multiple different clients. And therefore I personally was popped out of the system. And all I just did, I was called the mascot in the end. I just to go in and shake some clients' hands and then go away, and then they just deliver it. When you're talking about a consulting business, like the current one I'm in, most people make the mistake of doing one-to-one. So they go, oh, I want to do one-to-one. And what happens is you get these one-to-one clients, you give them 2 sort of sessions per week. And then suddenly you go and win, 15 clients. And you're like, great, I've got 15 clients. And you're like, wow, I've got like, 30, 90-minute sessions to be able to deliver every single month. And I want to not work Fridays. And before you know it, you are just busy and you're burning out and you've got no time to develop your business. And so it's just tough really doing it that way. Whereas actually what we want to do is get you up to 55 clients, right? So you can go have your 17 grand after tax and have all the lovely holidays. And so how do we do that? Well, if you're a consultant, what you want to do is you'll understand that most people that buy from you, they want to buy a result. So say you're a coach, they want to buy a result. They want to be able to be happier or thinner, or they want to grow a better business or get more inquiries. And where they are now is they're in this problem. They've got pain. And there's a journey to take them from where they are now to the result. So you sell them the result, but then they justify logically by seeing your 4-step process to how to get from where they are now to the result. Cool. And once you show them that, that's ultimately what they're buying from you. So package this up into an online program, because anybody that's doing one-to-one coaching will know that you get asked the same things over and over again. So if you've got a nice little online program with lots of swipe files and stuff, then these elements come in and they're your online program. But when anybody's buying anything online, they want to know leadership, they want to see community, they want personalization, and they want routine, right? So leadership is a course, and it's the one-to-one, right? So this is leadership, leadership, leadership. Community, we can't do with one-to-one. So we want to add that in. Personalization we can do, but we can also add that in, and routine we want to do something. So how do you do it? We'll do 3 drop-in clinics. Do a drop-in clinic on a Monday, on a Wednesday, and on a Friday. Okay, so people can come in, they can do their information, they can drop in and see you Monday. You say, hey, that's great, do this, this, and this, then come see that. Drop in on Tuesday, Wednesday, do this and this, come and see that. Drop in on Friday, do that. That now gives you routine because it's weekly, personalization because you can answer their questions, further leadership in those drop-in clinics, and because of their group sessions, their community. So you hit all those pieces. The final thing that you do is you add in a VIP group so you can carry on answering questions for people, and lo and behold, you've got a fantastic situation where you can then put these recordings into the group, so it gives routine into the group, and then people can carry on asking you, talking to you, etc. from there. Do you see how this is working? Now, what we've just done, my friends, is we've been able to reduce your time. So we've been able to double your income because you can have 55 clients doing those and still only do drop-in clinics. Awesome. So maybe even more than double your income. Tick. Work half the time. Well, we've only working 3 hours per week doing that. Oh, that's awesome. So double your income, work half your time. Now I've got about 60 seconds left. Am I right, Jill?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so I've doubled your income. But hey, we're also looking at, I don't know, God knows what that is pinging up on my computer. We've been able to double your income. We've been able to work half the time, but I also want to give you the sales and marketing funnel. So what we talk about is awareness into consider into convert. So awareness, stop trying to be on every single social media network, right? Double down on one. Think about it. If you just focused on LinkedIn, if it's your right one, you could have a LinkedIn group, you could have a LinkedIn newsletter, you could have a LinkedIn outreach campaign, you'd be doing connections, you could write articles, you can have God knows what else going on, right? You can go live. So you could be amazing on LinkedIn. So don't try and be amazing on Facebook as well, and also be a YouTuber. Just go deep on one. Great. So we're only going to be working on one social media platform and we can be awesome at it. Then we need to bring people into consideration. Have one weekly moment. Why do I say consideration? Well, if you just connect with me on LinkedIn and then try and spam me and sell me something, I'm like, oh, horsey. You got to work and be able to build up enough credibility to want to buy from me, right? So have a weekly moment. What do I mean by that? That might be your podcast that you put out every single week. That might be a video put out every single week. That might be an event that you do every single week. You invite people along. Have one place for them to warm up to you. And then once they are warming up to you, then have one call to action. Maybe that's your, grow your business in 2023 strategy session. And you do that with people one-to-one. Maybe that's lose half a stone in 5 weeks, workshop or whatever, but it's a one-to-one. So that's your branded convert. So you go from awareness by being amazing in one place, social media, you draw them back into one weekly moment where you can just blow their minds by giving them more free information. You allow them to go and book the consideration piece, which is say a strategy session. And then from that, you then sell them your one product, which is your flagship product, the thing. You sell them the result, and you then give them, you tell them where they are now, you sell them that result, you show them the journey, and you tell them that it's 597 per month times by 12 months. And the final point, how many do you need to sell? 1 per week. What do you get? Around about 17 grand after tax. Right. I'll shut up. But I hope that helps. Big love. I'm so much thrown at you now. I'm so sorry. But I hope, hope it's value. Hope something landed.
I think it sounds pretty much value. It's you see what I mean, guys? It's common sense, isn't it? There's so much of it. It's like, oh yeah, duh, why am I not doing that? So, and we get caught up with what everybody else is doing, and we think that we have to scattergun and we have to try this, and it's a bright shiny object over there. And I'm very guilty of that. So thank you, Richard. I have to ask this question. One of the reasons I invited you to come and have a chat is last time we had a proper conversation, which is probably back in the summer. You said you were about to climb Everest. Did it ever happen?
It was going to Everest Base Camp and then on to Island Peak, climb out Island Peak. So as much as I'd like to say climb Everest, it was never climb Everest.
Well, part of it.
I would like to. It's part of it. It is part of it. But yeah, we flew over to Nepal in October and climbed up to the base camp, and then Island Peak is this mountain just off the side of Everest. It's like bigger than Kilimanjaro. It's bloody huge, but it's not Everest. Yeah, but it's right on the side of Everest. And unfortunately, I've got massive altitude sickness and real bad issues with like pains in my chest, and I struggled to breathe. My oxygen went down to 50%, and I had to be helicopter evacuated off the side of the mountain halfway through. So so that was pretty scary for a little while, but the my goal for next year is to get it done next year. So as much as my wife will probably kill me for saying that, I've got unfinished business with that place, so I want to go finish it off. So hopefully I'll still be here this time next year.
Oh wow, that would be fantastic. Thank you.